What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just quickly wanted to recap the Chattanooga game, and I was pleased, man. I felt like we looked pretty good, looked like a ball club, went out there against a far inferior opponent and did what we were supposed to do, which is always good. I like that lineup that we have there with the O-line. I like having those five guys. I think I actually even said before the season my kind of best case scenario, perfect world O-line, and I believe it was those five guys. I had them in a little bit different spots. I know I definitely had K-Rajan at guard. I think I had Wanye at guard also, but I had those five guys out there, so just happy to see that combination of guys. And I think that O-line is very solid now. You look across the board, we got Trey Smith, Darnell, and K-Rajan are each 330 pounds. Wanye is about 315, and Brandon Kennedy is about the same size, 315. So we got some beef up there on the O-line, and I like having that continuity, having five guys to really kind of rock and roll with. We still got Jameer Johnson. We'll see how he kind of plays into this thing next week, or this week, I guess. But pleased with the O-line, man. I really like what I'm seeing from those guys. And I think that it went from a weakness of ours to possibly one of our strengths. And talking about the quarterbacks, Garantano, I think he looks solid. His stat line wasn't bad, 7 for 8 for about 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. And that's the thing about him is his stats, they don't ever really look bad. He somehow does a good job of not making his stat line look too bad, but still, there's still some timing issues, still late on some throws. I know guys like to talk about that touchdown pass through to Cedric Tillman, and, I don't think that was necessarily a terrible play there. He wasn't late, in my opinion. He had to do a play fake, had to turn around, set his feet, find the guy, throw the ball. I mean, that takes a little bit of time. He pretty much let go of the ball as soon as he was able to do those things. So I don't fault him for his timing on that throw, but I think the throw could have been a little bit more to the outside of the receiver. He kind of hung it in the middle just a little bit, and yeah, against a team like Florida, who you expect to have better athletes in the secondary, that could be a potential pick. Could be a batted ball, or it could even be a big hit on the receiver. So could have made a little bit safer throw, but at the end of the day, we got the touchdown. So, you can't really fault him too much there. And I know it's easy to get really nitpicky on Garantano because we've been watching this guy for so long, and everything he does makes us want to throw the heck up. But, I don't think he played a bad game. I think he's looking good, moving around the pocket, buying some time, not taking sacks, throwing the ball, getting it to open receiver. Well, at least looked like he did against Chattanooga. Got to the open receiver a little more consistently. So, I think he's looking good. Hopefully that game maybe gets his confidence going, and he comes out and balls out on Saturday against the Gators. And then we got to see the young guys. We got to see Brian Maurer. I know we've been wanting to see him. Got to see him. I tell you what, I was surprised at how athletic he actually is. I knew he was a guy who liked to run around, but I had no idea he had those type of wheels on him. So that was actually pretty cool to see that. And I really think, man, didn't get to see him throw the ball much, but with that athleticism, he can really be a game changer. And, I don't know. We got to find a way to see if we can get that guy in the field a little bit more, I think. He actually looked good, man. I actually like all the quarterbacks. Maurer's arm obviously isn't where you want it. He did have a good throw down the field to Ramil Keaton, but, you can tell his arm doesn't have the same zip. Definitely not the same zip as J.T. Strout, and not even the same zip as Garantano has when he throws the ball. So needs to work on that arm strength, but he can be a guy that could compete for a job if he's given enough opportunity to do that. But J.T. Strout, for me, I know his stat line didn't look good, 3 for 9, whatever he was, but the ball flies off of that kid's hand like you wouldn't believe. He had those first couple throws weren't good for him, but once he kind of settled into the game, you can tell he was a little bit nervous. Once he kind of calmed down, he was putting it right on these guys, and the ball gets there instantaneously. That's what we call a hose. You know what I'm saying? The kid's got a freaking hose for an arm. That thing's a beeline, shoop, right to the guy. And his timing, I like his timing on his throws. He's actually, throwing the ball before the receiver breaks his route off. And I think it was catching our guys off guard because it's coming out so quick and it's getting there so fast that a lot of times they were turning around and the ball's pretty much hitting them right in the face. But he looked good, man. He looked really good. He's the type of guy, I think he'll probably end up transferring if he doesn't, win the job next year or whatever. And he'll go somewhere else and be an absolute stud. I'm telling you, he looked good. He looked dang good to me. I liked him a whole lot. But yeah, that was pretty much it for the offense. Defensively, the D-line still does not look very good. We're still giving up too much up the middle, not getting any push. I mean, nobody's getting past the line of scrimmage, you know what I mean? And I just don't understand what's so hard about doing that. But we're struggling there. We got to get that shored up this week for sure. I don't think Florida's a team that's going to give us a whole lot as far as that power run game. I think if they do, it'll come more so from the quarterback, whether that's Trask or whatever his name is, or Emory Jones. Both those guys, I think are probably their best runners. Their running backs haven't really done anything, you know what I mean? So, not too worried about those guys. But I'll get to more on that a little bit later. But D-line needs to give us more. Darrell Middleton hasn't given us a thing all season. I want him all the way off the freaking rotation. Solomon's been solid, not giving us what I want from him, but he's been solid, you know what I mean? Been solid. Let's see, who else we got up there? I was very pleased to see Elijah Simmons out there. Elijah Simmons didn't get a whole lot of snaps, but from what I saw, he's a guy, they ain't moving his big butt, you know what I mean? He ain't getting moved, and he actually is the first guy I think I've seen all season long that actually penetrated the backfield. He actually blew through like two guys and was in the backfield on one play. So, if nothing else, this guy needs to be in on third and shorts, short yardage situations, goal line. Throw his butt in there and let him clog some gaps because he'll do it for you. So, was pleased, man. Pleased with all the freshmen getting in there. Crouch and Roman Harrison got a whole lot more playing time. Still not doing a phenomenal job getting to the passer. They're just one trick ponies right now, giving that bull rush. But they both have tremendous upside. You can see it from a mile away. Crouch is making plays all over the field. And let me tell you what, towards the end of the game, I believe it was in the fourth quarter, I believe it was on Aubrey Solomon's interception. I believe it was that play. Crouch actually used his hands and actually ripped around a guy, gave him a swing move, and was right there in the quarterback's face. Quarterback had to throw it up, and of course Solomon gets a pick. So I think that may get him going. I think now it's kind of clicking for him. Like, oh, you know what? These linemen are, big and fat and slow. I can use my speed and athleticism to get around these guys. So I'm telling you, I'm expecting somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be Roman. It's going to be Crouch. It's going to be Taylor. Somebody's going to have a pretty big game against these Gators. They're going to get a couple sacks. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody's going to finally click, and they're going to do something for us. I really believe that. But yeah, man, pleased with those guys. Pleased with the linebackers. J.J. Peterson got in the game. He looked good. I like what I saw from him. I don't know why he's not playing more. I think he's probably our third best linebacker on the team right now, behind of course Danny B and Henry T. But yeah, he looked good getting in there, and of course Jeremy Banks having a couple picks. It was good to see that and see him get the ball in his hands again. Secondary, still struggling a little bit. Still, were guys open, and we can't just leave guys open like that all the time. We're fortunate UTC couldn't catch the cold, and they kept dropping the ball, but they had guys open, so we got to figure something out there. Now, Kenneth George, okay, he started over Alontae Taylor. I liked what I saw from him. He looked good. He looked better than anybody has looked all season at DB. He was shut down in coverage, and was pretty good in run support. He, in my opinion, has earned a starting spot this week against Florida. And let me tell you what, if they say, hey, Bryce Thompson, you're cleared to play, all of a sudden we got two guys, and that's the thing, they're both similar guys, okay? They're both similar size. George is a little bit thicker. He's about 205 pounds. Bryce Thompson's about 195. But both physical guys, aggressive guys, like to hit, like contact, and can cover. I think that's going to help us out so much. We'll be able to man up, and that's going to really play big on this game, because with this young guy against Kentucky, I'm talking about Florida's quarterback, against Kentucky, he came in, he was hot. The reason he was so hot, at least from what I saw, I didn't watch the whole game. I just watched kind of some highlights on YouTube. From what I saw, Florida was not, Kentucky was not playing man coverage most of the time he was in there. They were just playing zone. He was kind of picking them apart. They were sitting back for some reason. But when Felipe was in there, they were playing man and getting in guys' faces a little more, and that's why they were struggling. They were up 21-10, wherever it was. Now, we need to be able to replicate that same type of game plan. Blitz this guy, come at him from different angles, and confuse him, And if we do that, and of course, playing tight press man and all that deal, if we can do that and our receivers and our DBs can hold up and pass coverage, I think we're going to give them a really hard time to pass the ball. Now, I'll tell you this, I discussed this with my dad and my brother and a few other guys, and I tend to agree. I think that Florida is a better team without Felipe Franks. I do. I think he holds that team back. Like I said, this other guy came in there against Kentucky. As soon as he came in, they freaking came right back, So, I think we're going to have a tougher task than anyone else has had this year against Florida. That, the fact that he's probably a better quarterback than Franks, and we don't really know what the game plan is with Emory Jones. He may get some carries and stuff. We got a game plan for him as well, so we really don't know. It's kind of a game of unknowns, but I think whoever's in the game, we got to blitz the heck out of them, play tight man. It's going to be tough if the quarterback gets out of the pocket because we're going to have our backs turned as DBs and have a lot of running room, but I would like to blitz the heck out of these guys. Here's the thing about Florida. Give you guys a little FYI on Florida. So they haven't looked very impressive to me against Miami, a team, brand new head ball coach, and doesn't look very good to me. A true freshman quarterback and that whole deal. A lot of young guys in that O-line and that whole deal. Against Kentucky didn't look good. Should have lost that game. Kentucky had them beat. Obviously could have kicked a last-second field goal from about 30 yards away, missed it, and I believe they had them stopped. Florida had the ball trying to go down and take the lead. About 3 minutes left, maybe even less than that. Kentucky stops them on like a 3rd and 8 from their own, from Florida's like 30-yard line, and get called for a cheap targeting on the quarterback. And if you see the play, you'll know what I mean when I say cheap. It was one of those calls that it's such a tough break for the guys because I guess it is technically the rule, but what's the guy supposed to do right there? Quarterback spinning around, getting tackled. He kind of gets slung into the Kentucky D lineman, and they happen to hit helmet to helmet, and they freaking flag him for it. Extends the drive, and they go down and they score. But the Kentucky had that game won. So Florida's a very lucky team. They easily could be and probably should be the same record as us, 1-2, with our only one being over a very bad FCS Tennessee team. They played UT Martin, beat them 45-0. But I'm telling you, that was a game. They didn't put that game away until the 3rd quarter. So, or really it took them 3 quarters, so really not to the 4th quarter that they actually put that game away. It was 17-0 at halftime. They were starting to play their ones for the majority of that game. Now, they've struggled on the offensive line. They're not just plowing guys over. They don't have a dominant run game. They don't have a dominant running back. I think we can get to the passer against this O-line, even though we haven't done it against probably worse O-lines. But they're not great, They're not great. I think our O-line's better than their O-line. I'd take our O-line over their O-line. Their D-line's supposed to be all-world, but Kentucky shut them down. They had 1 sack, I think, against Kentucky. Kentucky ran the ball pretty well on them. The D-line's nothing crazy, in my opinion. I think we can hold them down with the guys we got starting now. So I think we have a chance to win the line of scrimmage. Believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy. I think we have a chance to win the line of scrimmage against these guys. And that's going to kind of tell the tape, in my opinion, is can we stop them from running up the middle and running period? Because they're going to read option us and all that, and we struggled with that. So that's going to be a big telltale sign there. And, can we protect Garantano, and can we open up some lanes to run the ball as well? Are going to be two crucial things for this game. But, I think we can do those things. I do. Like I said, I'm not impressed with this team. I think that they easily could, like I said, be a 1-2 ball club. There's a reason they dropped down 2 spots in the polls to number 10. I really think that we have a chance against these guys. It's just going to, we got to continue to build off the momentum we have. I know it's UT Chattanooga that we just beat, but this team looks so much better. I don't think UT Chattanooga is that much worse than Georgia State. They're probably pretty even teams, Georgia State is probably a couple touchdowns better than them, but, not a whole heck of a lot better than them. And so, that's easily a game we probably should have won by about the same margin. And even the BYU game, I feel like we dominated the whole game. We outrushed them by 150 yards, won the time possession battle and all that, and ended up losing the game in double overtime, wherever it was, overtime. That's a team that goes out there and beats USC. So that's not a terrible ball club we lost to. So, I think this team has a chance. I think we do. I think Cheney's going to have a game plan for us to be able to move the ball on these guys. I think Pruitt's going to have some things dialed up to confuse these inexperienced quarterbacks that they're going to play against us. And, like I said, I really think we have a chance to go out here and shock the world. No one gives us a chance to win this game. And, Florida, they're not no world beater, okay? I'm not saying Tennessee's a national contender, but I am saying that Florida's not a national contender. Like, they're a team that we can compete with. I really believe that. They don't impress me at all. They don't scare me at all. I really think we can go out there and get those guys a really good fight. Like I said, especially if Bryce Thompson comes back, getting Daniel Batuli back was huge. You saw the impact he made on that team, on that game, and I think that we have a shot. I think that we're really kind of getting closer to figuring out who our guys are. That's something else we're still trying to learn. We have all these freshmen, all these young guys who are inexperienced but probably have more ability, and so the staff's been trying to kind of say, okay, let's give this guy a shot, I think we're seeing more and more guys can step up and can play. It can help this team win. And so hopefully on Saturday we have a lineup that puts our best 11 on the field on both sides of the ball. That's as simple as I can make it. So if we do that, and if we can not have a game like we had last year against these guys, okay, we have got to win the turnover battle. Let's not go out here and throw picks, JG. Let's not go out here and fumble the ball, get strip sacked and all that stuff. Let's not give up big plays in the return game. If we can just play sound football, disciplined football, not beat ourselves, I really think we come away with a W. I don't want to get guys' hopes up for no reason. I know I tend to do this every freaking week and every freaking year and all this, but when I just look at it on paper at face value, and I say, okay, Georgia State game, that's an anomaly. Okay, whatever the percentage was, where we probably 90% chance that we're gonna win that game. Okay, well, you know what? The 10% chance that we were gonna lose, it happened to happen that time. You know what I mean? Like, we would not lose those guys again. BYU is a game we should have won, and we're still shuffling guys around. We missed some opportunities, and we know what happened that game. A game that, like I said, we should have won. We dominated that game. Should have won by a couple touchdowns, if you ask me. And Florida, like I said, has not looked impressive against Miami or against Kentucky or even against UT Martin. So I think we have a chance. I really, really do. I really believe it. It's been a long time since we won in Gainesville. We've got to eventually win there again, don't we? Why not this year? I think this might be a big win for us. We go to 2-2, have a little bit more momentum, and have a chance to salvage this season. But I'm feeling optimistic about it. Let me know you guys' thoughts below. How you think we're going to fare? Do you think we have a chance against these guys? What are the keys to success for us? And like always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Go Vols.